Today, we're tackling a massive story. How in the world did China build the planet's biggest and most advanced high-speed rail network basically in a single generation? This whole thing didn't start with some grand blueprint. Nope, it all began with a train ride. We're talking 1978, when Deng Xiaoping took a trip on Japan's famous Shinkansen, the original bullet train. And that one experience, well, it planted a seed, a massive vision for what modern infrastructure could do for his country. And from that one little seed, a forest of steel just exploded across the landscape. If you fast forward to today, China's high-speed rail network is over 40,000 kilometers long. To give you some perspective, that's enough track to wrap around the entire Earth. And get this, it's over two-thirds of all the high-speed track in the entire world. Just wow. So the big question is, how? How did a country where trains were just chugging along at 48 kilometers an hour in the early 90s suddenly build a world-leading network in a fraction of the time it took anyone else? Well, that's exactly the question we're going to break down. Okay, to really wrap our heads around this revolution, we got to start small. Let's forget the big picture for just a minute and zoom right in on the experience itself. What's it actually like to ride one of these futuristic trains? The whole thing is clearly designed to compete with air travel, and honestly, it often wins. It's incredibly efficient. Your ticket is linked to your ID, so you just breathe into the station using facial recognition. And the stations themselves, they're more like modern airports. Absolutely massive and spotless. They can board a train with 1,300 people in just 15 minutes. On board, you've got tons of legroom, quiet cars, and you can even order food from a restaurant at the next station and have it delivered right to your seat. A long trip, say Shanghai to Beijing, cost about 70 euros, so it's both super convenient and surprisingly affordable. But look, that amazing passenger experience, that's really just the shiny surface. To see the real story, we need to zoom way out and look at the colossal national strategy that made it all happen. Before they could even think about building the future, they had to fix the present. So starting in 1997, China kicked off the Speed Up campaign. Now, this wasn't about building new lines just yet. It was a very methodical, six-phase plan to just modernize the old, slow railway network they already had. By 2007, that campaign had laid all the groundwork, bumping up speeds and getting the first generation of faster trains on the tracks. Okay, so with that modern foundation in place, they were ready for the first grand vision, which they unveiled in 2008. The plan sounds simple enough, a 4+4 grid, 4 lines running north to south, 4 running east to west. But this was so much more than just connecting dots on a map. The real goal was to create high-speed economic super corridors, linking the biggest cities and manufacturing hubs to get people and commerce flowing like never before. And this next move, it really just shows the scale of their ambition. In 2016, right as that first grid was almost finished, they didn't just celebrate, they doubled down. They rolled out the new 8+8 master plan. This was a huge strategic shift. It wasn't just about connecting the major hubs anymore. Now, the goal was to build a super dense nationwide web that would bring hundreds of smaller cities into the high-speed network, spreading that economic development deep into the country. Building thousands of kilometers of track is one thing, but you need the right machine to run on it. So let's zoom back in from the huge national plan to the technology itself, to the trains that are pushing the very boundaries of physics. China's approach to train tech followed a really clear 4-step playbook. Step 1, they learned from the best, importing technology from the pioneers in Japan, Germany, and France. Step 2, they started mastering it, building their own Hexi or Harmony series of trains. Step 3 was true innovation with the Fuxing or Rejuvenation series, a completely homegrown design. And now they're on step 4, aiming to leave the world with the CR450 project, which is designed to make 400 kilometers an hour the new normal. The CR450 is just a marvel of engineering. Every single component has been rethought for one reason and one reason only: speed. They're using new lightweight stuff like carbon fiber to make the train 10% lighter, which is crucial for acceleration. The aerodynamics have been totally optimized. That longer nose and the covered wheels aren't just for looks. They cut air resistance by over 20%. And maybe the most incredible part, The goal is to make it just as quiet at 400 kilometers an hour as the previous generation was at 350. So this huge network, the cutting-edge trains, the seamless experience, it all comes with a monumental price tag. And that begs the big question: who pays for all this, and at what cost? Let's just talk about the debt. By late 2022, the state-owned China Railway Corporation was carrying a colossal debt of over 6 trillion yuan. To put that into perspective, that's about 890 billion US dollars. That number is so big, it's hard to even picture. It was about 5% of China's entire GDP at the time. And that debt is fueled by an almost unbelievable construction cost. Building a single kilometer of high-speed rail in China is estimated to cost somewhere between 120 and 130 million yuan. And for the government, expanding the network to meet those strategic goals has consistently been a higher priority than paying down that massive debt. But this is where the strategy really comes full circle. They don't just see this as debt, they see it as an investment. And academic studies are starting to show the payoff. Research like this one from Beijing Jiaotong University proves that the arrival of high-speed rail has a significant positive effect on the economy. It boosts consumer spending and income levels in both the big cities and the newly connected smaller areas. Total rail trips across the entire country exceeded 3.6 billion in 2023, a figure that grew significantly following the end of pandemic-related restrictions. So in this view, it's not just a transportation network, it's a national economic engine. So after building this revolutionary network at home, what's next? Well, now China is looking to export its technology, its standards, and its expertise to the rest of the world. Let's move to the final piece of the puzzle and see how this all builds into a global strategy. A key artery of China's Global Belt and Road Initiative is high-speed rail. The most ambitious project is the Pan-Asian Railway Network. The vision here is a continuous rail corridor stretching from Kunming in southern China down through Laos and Thailand, through Malaysia and all the way to Singapore, which would totally reshape the economic geography of Southeast Asia. The first piece, the railway through Laos, is already done, and it cut a 15-hour road trip down to just 4 hours by train. The next section through Thailand is being built right now, but it also raises some serious questions about things like debt trap diplomacy. But even as the CR450 is pushing wheel-on-rail technology to its absolute limit, China is already developing the next giant leap. We're talking about magnetic levitation, or maglev. Instead of wheels on a track, maglev trains use powerful magnets to float above a guideway, which completely eliminates friction. While conventional trains are topping out around 400 kilometers per hour, new Chinese maglevs are being designed for speeds of 600 kilometers per hour. That's fast enough to compete with airplanes. There's no denying it, high-speed railway has completely transformed China. But as these steel ribbons spread further and further across the globe, they bring both incredible opportunities and serious risks, leaving us with a question: is China building a more connected world or a more dependent one?